What's going on, everybody? Josh McCarty from Bills Chat here with your Week 1 Arizona Cardinals Buffalo Bills prediction, preview, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to give you my score prediction. I'm going to give you some keys to the game as we are now within 24 hours of kickoff of the Buffalo Bills Week 1 game. So this is an interesting opponent for the Bills. And we've been saying this since the schedule came out. The Cardinals were a 4-12 team, and they picked high in the draft for a reason. But I think you have to put an asterisk on their season last year when you look at it, that it was Jonathan Gannon's first season as a head coach, and they played more than half of their games without Kyler Murray. He is healthy. He's playing this year. And because they had such a bad record, they were able to draft Marvin Harrison Jr., who is largely considered the best wide receiver prospect to come out in a decade. So all of that adds up to me to this being a scarier opponent than I think maybe a lot of folks realize when they see the Cardinals coming to Buffalo Week 1. The line right now is 6.5 points in favor of the Bills. And, there's some stuff baked into there about West Coast team traveling east, but I will remind you, in 2021, these same Cardinals went east to take on a playoff team from the year before in the Tennessee Titans and blew them out in their own building. They're a dangerous opponent. They're very good on offense, but they are very suspect on defense. And that's where my first key of the game is going to be. This Cardinals defense, by a lot of metrics, whether it's PFF, whether it's established the run, has the worst pass rush in the entire sport. And then when you look at what's behind the pass rush, it's not exactly an inspiring group of corners. Budda Baker is a very good safety. But outside of that, their secondary can be had. This is a fantastic first test for this new group of Bills wide receivers. And I will say, if for whatever reason, the Bills can't move the ball consistently or put up points on this Cardinals defense, that will be alarming. Because a lot of us all offseason have wondered, what's the Bills' plan at receiver? There's not really a 1 or a 1A. It's more of a, strength in numbers. Everybody eats. You guys all know what we've been saying. But if these guys struggle to move the ball on this defense in Buffalo, I think it will be a red flag. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Bills are going to get their points. And my first prediction for this game is I think Khalil Shakir is going to lead the Bills in reception yards in this game. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, Curtis Samuel, I know he's full go for this game. He was dealing with the turf toe. But Curtis Samuel, Keon Coleman have never caught a regular season pass from Josh Allen. I think there is something about the familiarity with Khalil Shakir. We saw his snap counts go up tremendously when Joe Brady took over last year. He, along with Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, are the guys in the passing game that Josh Allen is most familiar with. I think when it's all said and done this season, Khalil Shakir is going to be the highest statistical output for Bills wide receivers. I think that starts week 1 against the Arizona Cardinals. I think he has a chance to push for 100 yards in this game and maybe find the end zone. The thing on the other side of the ball that makes me nervous, though, is I wonder about Trey McBride. And I know that the shiny new toy is Marvin Harrison Jr. He's certainly a handful. But Trey McBride had over 800 yards last year. He had over 100 targets. He popped onto the scene as an emerging star at tight end. And then when you look at this Bills defense, you don't have Matt Milano, and you have 2 new safeties, Taylor Rapp and DeMar Hamlin, neither of which I think to this point in their careers have really established themselves as weapons when you talk about one-on-one coverage. So how the Bills deploy their defense against Trey McBride is going to be fascinating to me. Are they able to take him away with one player? Do they get creative? A player like Cole Bishop, who I don't think he's going to have an every down role on this defense to start the season, but in a matchup like this, could they deploy him as almost a dime linebacker and say, hey, Cole, you have Trey McBride? It's interesting. I wouldn't expect that. I think you're going to see the Bills go with their base nickel for the most part and just see what happens. The good news is, for the most part, tight ends aren't going to just kill you with high ADOT. But what they do against Trey McBride is going to be massive. And then I do think you're going to see a lot of heavy personnel from the Cardinals. They were, middle of the pack as far as 12 personnel usage last year. I expect that to go up. They took the tight end Raymond in the 3rd round, who is a tremendous blocker. So I do think that these Cardinals are going to try to stress the Bills nickel package and maybe try to play Taron Johnson off the field and see if the Bills have to tap into their already depleted depth at linebacker. That's an interesting chess match. So what the Bills do against Trey McBride will be massive. I expect him to get his. I expect the Cardinals offense to get his. This is not an opponent I expect the Bills to shut out. In fact, I have the Cardinals scoring 20 points in this game, but that's where I get to my prediction. I think that this is going to be a Bills victory. I think the Bills are going to start off 1-0, and I think we're going to be impressed with the offensive output. Give me Bills 31, Cardinals 20. Bills beat the Cardinals week 1. Big game from Khalil Shakir. And I want to give you one stat on James Cook. And really, this is an Arizona Cardinals defensive stat. Last year, they were one of 2 teams in the entire NFL to give up 2,000 yards to opposing running backs over the course of the season. And they have not done a lot this offseason to get better. I mean, they took a defensive lineman in the first round of the draft, but he's out of this game with an injury. This defense is very leaky against the running backs. They're kind of middle of the pack as far as running backs doing damage through the air. I think James Cook has a chance to be a huge factor in this game, but I also have a sneaky feeling that we're going to get an early dose of what Ray Davis brings to this team. If you like DraftKings, if you like underdog, I love the idea of Ray Davis anytime touchdown prop. So just keep that in mind as we move forward. Bills start off 1-0, 31-20 over the Arizona Cardinals. Keep it locked here on Bills Chat. I will be live at halftime to break down everything from the first half. Enjoy our first football Sunday, folks. We finally made it. Football season. Can you just feel it? It's fantastic. And I will talk to you next week.